free course on how to get started with copywriting without ever having to pay a single dollar. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Hugo Wong back again with another video, and in today's video, we'll be going through a full free course on how to get started with copywriting without ever having to pay a single dollar to these gurus online for their copywriting courses, because the truth is they're gatekeeping all the good stuff from you, and they're hiding it all in their 997 courses, their 5K programs, even their 10K programs. And I don't want you to spend a single dollar on these courses without having all you need to get started with copywriting, because the truth is you don't need to pay for any courses to start copywriting in 2025. So this video will be an all-in-one video for any beginner or even intermediate level copywriter to get started to make money online as a copywriter in 2025. Now, you may have watched a lot of videos online regarding starting a copywriting business in 2025 or becoming a freelance copywriter, and you might have no clue on how to even sign clients as a copywriter in 2025. So this video will be a Bible. So make sure you save this video and go back to it in your own time. Now, your time is just as valuable as mine. So let me just get right into the good stuff. All right, let's get started. All right, so now let's dive into the copywriting training so you can get started with copywriting without ever having to pay for courses. Now, we'll be covering a lot of stuff in today's video, and we're also giving away lots of free resources, templates, and trainings inside this video, and it's going to be revealed inside this video. So make sure that you watch till the end to get most out of this video so you can get started with copywriting for free. All right, so now let's dive right into the phase one. All right, so the phase one is pretty much the learning phase. And what you want to do in a learning phase is pretty much pick up these copywriting principles from different books, from different marketers who have been in the industry for a long time. You can go straight into applying these principles and signing your first few clients in 2025. All right, so the first thing you need to do is to pick up a few books. So if you're a complete beginner, then I recommend you read The Boron Letters by Gary Halbert. The secondly is Ogilvy on Advertising by David Ogilvy. The third book is Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. Now, these are all legends. These are all artists. They have mastered the craft of copywriting. So by picking up a few principles from a few of these guys, you'll be more than equipped to start writing on your own. Now, we'll be revealing some examples and some copy later on in this video, so make sure that you pay attention throughout, okay? The fourth book is called Ad-Week Copywriting by Joseph Sugarman. These are the four books that I personally started out with, and when I first started out, I had no clue how to write English. I'm actually born and raised in Hong Kong, so English isn't my first language. I was actually a construction worker getting paid $300 a month, and I actually broke my back during that time because I was carrying cement, carrying concrete, and I had to figure a way out of that. And copywriting was a great way to start. And in fact, I didn't even get started with English copywriting books. I got started with Chinese copywriting books, which are translated from English authors like these right now. So if you're in a better place now than when I was starting out, I didn't really speak good English, you guys can pick up these books straight away. Now, I don't expect you to finish these books at all. In fact, I know probably 90% of you aren't even going to finish one book. So my advice would be to skim through all of these books and take away some key principles that you can apply straight away. And that's the quickest and easiest way to start, rather than having to spend weeks to finish one book. All right, so now if you're an intermediate copywriter, you can move on to a different type of style of books. These books are more so tailored towards, seasoned copywriters. An example of these would be Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, and a legendary book. Secondly is Exactly What to Say by Phil M. Jones. The third book will be Copywriting Secrets by Jim Edwards. The next book would be 100 Ways to Improve Your Writing by Gary Provost. And last but not least, it will be the Email Compendium by Daniel Throssell. All right, so if you're more in the intermediate stage and you're looking to start copywriting from there, or to even just refresh your memory on some core copywriting principles, then I recommend you start from there. All right, so these books are super valuable. I still read them to this day because it's useful to refresh your memory kind of once a year if you've been in the game for a while. But if you're first starting out, I recommend you just skim through these. It has more than enough for you to learn a few core copywriting principles that you can apply to your writing straight away. Nextly, other than reading really valuable books on copywriting to expand your knowledge, it's also important to follow some copywriters who have been in the game for a long time and who are also sometimes in the game right now. A few of these copywriters would be Dan Henry, Daniel Throssell. He's a really good Australian copywriter. I've read all of his books. Thirdly is David Ogilvy. He wrote a book, Advertising. Fourth is Gary Halbert. Fifth is Joseph Sugarman. Cloud Hopkins. The goal in following these copywriters and kind of seeing what they're up to is so that you're able to see what is working right now, because these are top copywriters. They're using their copywriting principles to this day. So it's super valuable to really be following them and to be following what they're doing. So let's take a look at Dan Lok, for example. Let me share my screen right now. Let's just Google Dan Lok. Let's go over to his website here. As you can see, I've been on his website before, and you can see that he has a really decked out sales page and a website here with lots of things that he's selling. What you want to do essentially when you're first starting out and you want to follow these copywriters is pretty much go over and kind of download their stuff for free. You don't have to buy anything. You know, most of these gurus are selling something. You do not need to buy anything. All you need to do is just give them your email. All right, so download for free. Let's see what this takes us to. So this takes us to another sales page. So right off the bat, when you're first starting out, you can already analyze what he's writing, what Dan is writing on his sales pages. And it says here, do not spend another dollar in marketing until you run your offer through this free high ticket offer formula. Your job is to dissect what they're writing, why they're writing, and also who are they targeting. So right off the bat, I can see that this guy's targeting business owners, right? So as a copywriter, you want to always be analyzing things that other copywriters are doing. And later on in this video, I'll show you how to properly dissect and analyze that, as well as provide you with a free template to really analyze them to the best of your ability so you can write better copy. What we're going to do is we're going to click on download. And what we're going to do is just going to enter our email, our first name, and also, just pretty much fill this out. And and the goal of this is by putting your email, Dan is then going to be sending us a lot of promotional emails asking us to buy something. And your goal on a day-to-day basis is pretty much to check your inbox, go to your email, and see what Dan is writing in his emails. And this is the first and most effective way to really improve your copy, is just by seeing what's going on and seeing the top copywriters in the game and seeing how they're selling you. The next really important thing is, you want to learn through different various medium, right? You want to learn through YouTube videos, you want to learn through books, you want to also learn through podcasts. Now, these 3 podcasts are some podcasts that I've been listening to for quite a while now. The first one is called the Copywriters Club podcast. The second is The Marketing School by Neil Patel. And thirdly is Everyone Hates Marketers. So if you're more of an audio learner, then I recommend you go through podcasts and also go through these YouTube videos right now, of course. And you can visit my channel anytime to learn at your own pace. While we're on that note, I also have a free school community where I have tons of free trainings where you can learn copywriting and you can get started with copywriting for free for absolutely $0. So it's for free. So if you want access to this school community, I have decked out trainings on there. Then just click on the link in the description below to access these trainings. All right, so now let's move on to phase 2, which is the swipe file part. So as a beginner, you want to always be collecting good pieces of copy from the industry, all right? Whether it's in your niche, whether it's in another niche, you as a copywriter, when you're first starting out, you should be looking at many different niches, all right? And also saving and collecting pieces of copy from different corners of the internet. So then you actually have kind of armory, right? You have a room of guns, right? If someone breaks into your house, you want to have, equipment, you want to have weapons ready, right? So you always want to be ready. So this applies to copywriting as well, all right? So what is a swipe file? Well, a swipe file is a curated collection of high converting copy examples. Now, if we scroll down a little bit, we'll have templates for you to use yourself where you can just copy and paste and just create your own swipe file. But every copywriter has their own swipe file, and I want you to start building it today. All right, so really pretty much just pause this video if you need to. If not, you can just continue watching, but I want you to, after this video, to create a swipe file right away. Now, I always tell my students, show me this copywriter's swipe file and I can pretty much guess their income. All right, so this swipe file is pretty much a document, a place, location where you store all the good copy that you see on the internet. Now, in just a second, I'll be showing you how to really look for good copy. But for now, I just need you to build that swipe file. All right. So it's good to have world-class copy accessible to you at any time, because I know a lot of copywriters when they first start out, they don't know what to write, right? It's just staring at a blank screen for hours and they don't even know how to start writing. So by having, pieces of inspiration next to you and in front of you at all times improves your writing, will really improve your writing and really help you get started with writing that first word. So you really don't need to pay for any courses. All you need to do is just look for good pieces of copy on the internet and create your own swipe files so you're able to replicate, use them as inspiration so you can better improve your copy in 2025. All right. So now let's dive into the rules of building a proper and a good swipe file. All right. So you want to save only what works, right? So things that have generated results, things that you think grabs a lot of attention, because that's the goal of copy. And don't just throw any piece of copy onto your swipe file. You want to make sure that it's good. So then you're also able to take good inspiration from things, right? So you also want to organize your swipe file by category, right? Is the piece of copy coming from emails? Is the piece of copy coming from ads? Is it coming from social media posts? You want to also analyze and kind of store them in compartments, so then you're able to see if you're writing an email, you can just go to the email portion, grab a piece of swipe file from there, and also help you write straight away. All right, so now nextly is what to collect, right? So the first most important criteria is copy that made you stop scrolling, right? So just like social media, let's say you're scrolling on Instagram and one Instagram really stops your scroll and you're like, hey, I want to watch this, right? You want to analyze what made you stop scrolling. So if that piece of copy made you stop scrolling, then you want to kind of save that and put it in your swipe file, because you can then do something similar for your own piece of copy for your future clients, right? Nextly, if you can see any campaigns with measurable success, let's say a viral ad, a viral TikTok with over, let's say, 1 million likes, then you want to kind of analyze, hey, what got that TikTok to get so many likes? What did this person say in the first 3 seconds? What did this person say at the end of the TikTok? You want to dissect and you want to analyze. You want to be kind of a doctor. You want to kind of go into, you kind of want to be an engineer. You kind of want to be figuring out what's working and why it's working, and kind of reverse engineer that piece of content in the script form, because that's our goal at the end of the day, is to write good selling words, right? That's the goal of copywriting. So if you come across a good piece of copy, whether if that's a social media post, an ad, a TikTok, a YouTube video, make sure that you save it and analyze why it's working, and make sure you keep it in your swipe file. And also, it's really important to diverse yourself, right? Diverse yourself across different industries. You don't want to just be collecting good pieces of copy in one niche, because that just limits you to one niche. You want to be seeing what's working, in the world in general, right? So take a look at different niches and make sure that you're just following the trend and really indoctrinating yourself into the copywriting world. This is the learning phase. This is the growing phase. This is also setting you up to write good copy, because if you don't have a good swipe file, then it's really hard to come up with good inspiration and also come up with good copy that's working right now. All right, so now let's move on to 1.1, which is headline swipes. All right, so what is a headline? So let's take a look at, let's say, Dan Locke's website, for example. So his headline here is, "We help experts and service-based entrepreneurs experience 7- and 8-figure revenue through high-ticket coaching." That's his headline, right? So this is an example of a headline. You can dive into many different headlines. So let's say this is a headline that I wrote for a client. Learn how to increase your credit score by 100 points and how to obtain 100K in funding. If you zoom in a little bit, it says without risky investments or working overtime, right? So this is an example of a swipe file. You want to either screenshot it, analyze the headline, and also paste a link, right? It's the source. You want to paste a link of where it's from, so then you're able to go back to it anytime you want to refer to that piece of copy, so then you can able to grab those ideas and just put it into your own copy. Of course, it's super important to analyze why it works, right? So because it hits a general pain point that most people have, which is having a low credit score, and it also offers the next logical step. So now that you've gotten a great credit score, now it's time to use that credit score to obtain funds, right? Because a good credit score allows you to have many more opportunities. One being, able to take out loans, take out business loans, and apply for funding. So that's the next logical step. So it's something that a customer would be interested in. So let me just save that as a swipe file, right? And also the next thing you want to kind of go through is the pattern, right? What is the formula that this person is using, or this copywriter is using, right? So they're using how to do this, how to do X and Y without having to do Y and Z, right? So this copywriter is using the formula, how to do X and Y without having to do blah, 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 right? How to lose weight without having to step on a treadmill or without having to give up your favorite foods, right? How do I make 100K in a day trading without having to look at my laptop, right? Something like that. Very strong copy. It's usually how to achieve your desired result without having to do the pain point that most people struggle in, right? So that's the formula that this headline's using. So let me just save that. Let me just put that into my own swipe file. I'm able to use this formula in the future for my own copy and for my client's copy. Secondly, the most important thing is email swipes, right? So let's say you sign up to a lot of these copywriters' email lists, right? Then you start getting emails from these people. So let's say you also sign up for brands. Like let's say you are interested in fashion brands, you're a fashion guy, or let's say you're a fitness guy, you sign up to supplements, you sign up to supplement brands newsletters. You start getting emails from these brands. So let's say Clarins here, I think it's a skincare brand. I signed up to their email list just to see what they're doing, because I work with skincare brands as well. And I received an email with the subject line, "Age Defying Power, now 50% lighter," right? So there's a lot of emails in your inbox and a lot of good copy hidden in your inbox. So all you have to do is just pretty much check your email and just look at what these brands are sending you. And if it's a good email, if it's a good subject line, just like here, then make sure you save it into your own swipe file. All right. So a few categories in emails. The first is subject line. So pretty much what you see before you click on the email. Number two is open loops or a curiosity gap, right? Is it something that is intriguing? Is it something that catches your attention? Is it something that stops your scroll? Because the inbox, just like Instagram, is flooded with emails, right? So what particular email, what are those one or two emails in those hundreds of emails in your inbox that sticks out? And why does it stick out? If it does stick out, then make sure you save it and analyze why it's sticking out. Who are they targeting? What techniques are they using? So the third thing is CTAs, or as most commonly known as call to action, which is what is the email directing you to do inside the email, right? And how are they telling you to do that, right? How are they telling you to sell? Does it say click here to buy now, or does it say unlock your discount, right? These things matter, and it comes down to the granular stuff. So make sure you pay attention to each and every single email. And if it's something that catches your eye, if it's something that you think, will definitely generate a lot of sales, save that to your swipe file. All right. So for example, let's say an email has the subject line or a hook, why your clients aren't replying and how to fix it, right? The structure here is pretty much problem. They kind of outline the problem, which is your clients aren't replying, agitate, which pretty much is already the same thing. And thirdly is solution, right? How to fix it, right? So that's something that someone might be interested in, so they will probably click on that email. So make sure you save, killer emails as well, because email is a great way to start with copywriting. So make sure not only do you save these great pieces of copy, but also in your head, also analyze why it's working. All right. So hopefully you're finding this video helpful so far. If you are, please drop a like in this video and save this video so you can go back to this anytime, because I'll be revealing some resources later on in a few minutes so you can easily set up your own swipe file and get better at copy as soon as possible. All right. So the next thing is ad and social media swipes. All right. So let's say you scroll on Facebook, you scroll on Instagram, and you see something that catches your eye, something like this, right? So let's say this is an ad from Best Self Co., the perfect addition to date night. So let's say you find a piece of copy on here. Let's say this primary headline right here, right there. If you like it, then save it, right? Save it to your swipe file. So the next thing that we want to go through is also what are the emotions that this ad triggers, right? Does it trigger fear? Does it trigger FOMO? Does it trigger desire? Does it trigger your wants, right? So how does the visuals and the copy go together? You want to also break that down. So that's your goal when you're first starting out in the first few weeks in copywriting. Now, I don't want you to spend too much time, creating the swipe file, learning these books, because ideally you want to be spending most of that time on outreach and signing clients, but you can't have a successful outreach system, or you can't really, generate a lot of clients and leads if you do not get good at copy. So you want to be able to have that balance, but you don't want to spend too much time building your swipe file. You don't want to spend too much time learning, reading books, because I want you to make money. I want you to pretty much learn as quick as you can, build up that swipe file as quick as you can, and then right away go into signing clients. All right. The next really important thing is landing page swipes, right? So let's say you go on a website and their entire website looks good, and you want to save it. So make sure you save the link, screenshot it if you need to, and also analyze why it's working. All right. So that's the point of a swipe file, is a personal exercise that you guys can do on a day-to-day basis. And I would really highly recommend you go through 5 to 10 pieces of copy every single day and save that to your swipe file. Always be building it and always be refreshing it and always be deleting old ones which don't work. All right, it's a constant process. It's not just you build it once and you go away. Next thing is sales letter swipe. So this really works for a lot of traditional methods of advertising. So a sales letter is pretty much a letter or a piece of sales copy written in a letter form mailed directly to your house. And that's where the term sales letter comes from. So this is an example of a great piece of sales letter here that I wanted to save. And that's why I wanted to show it to you guys today. But let's say you come across a really good sales letter, make sure you screenshot it, make sure you take a photo and save it into your own personal swipe file. All right. So these are two really good examples of swipe files. If you want a place where you can kind of look through good pieces of copy, which other copywriters have already dissected, then you can go to a website called swiped.co. You can see here, it's called swiped.co. I am not related to this website at all. It's just something that I personally use. I'm recommending it to you because when I first started out, I didn't really know about this at all. I want you to be able to have that upper hand when you're first starting out. So use this website here. As you can see, there's a lot of great pieces of copy here. And they also analyze it right here down below, right? We're looking for people to test phishing gear, right? So this an idea that people have nothing to lose, right? They're just testing something and they get to keep it for free, right? So that's a good piece of copy right there. You can see that they use a lot of free here, right? A lot of free stuff here. So later on in this video, I'll be going through a few killer magician words which you can use and plug into your copy, which instantly make it better. Just like free. Free is a great word. People like listening to free. But you'll be learning more about that. Also, Gary Halbert's Coat of Arms letter is a really famous sales letter that every copywriter I think should study. So make sure that you go onto there as well. But this is an entire sales letter written here, which you guys can analyze and see why it's working. When you're breaking down sales letters, it's really important to analyze what the lead is, what the hook is. So in this case, in Gary Halbert's Coat of Arms letter, his hook is, did you know that your family name was recorded with a coat of arms in ancient heraldic archives more than 7 centuries ago? That is the hook there, right? And you also want to break down why the hook is working well. And also if they have any stories that it's mentioning in the copy, then you also want to include that. For the close, what are they selling, right? What is this sales letter trying to sell, right? It's asking them to cover the expenses of the copy. Next thing is the close plus urgency. So what are they selling? So you want to make sure that you know what they're selling as well at the end of the day. So you're more versed in creating a great swipe file. Next thing is taglines and slogans. Let's say everyone knows the brand Nike. They have the slogan, just do it. What kind of emotion does it elicit, right? Secondly, M&M's, right? Their slogan is melt in your mouth, not in your hands. It's more of a sensory benefit, and it's something that a lot of people don't like, having chocolate melt in their pockets or melt in their hands, but it's something that melts in your mouth. So it's really appealing to their demographic. And if you are hired to write slogans for a company, then you want to have a good swipe file of slogans saved up, so you're able to kind of come up with a slogan really quick for your client. Where to find these ads, where to find these emails. So the first off, emails is pretty much just subscribing to your local copywriter's email list. Or local brands, let's say online brands, e-commerce brands, even SaaS brands, software brands. You can subscribe to their newsletters and you'll be receiving you'll be hand delivered lots of these great pieces of copy which you can save for yourself. And not to mention swipe.co, right? Swipe is a good place to look at good pieces of copy, as I mentioned just now. So make sure that you go through all of these methods to look through pieces of copy, all right? And make sure that you update your swipe file weekly for every project. Review 3 to 5 relevant swipes before even start writing. All right, so now later on in this video, we'll be going through the writing portion. I'll be also showing you a few emails that are working really well, so you guys can see as an example what a good swipe file looks like. So you can see what a good email looks like. So one question that I get asked a lot is where to host your swipe file, right? So the most raw and basic way to host a swipe file, which I do to this day, is just using Google Excel sheets, right? You guys can use that. And if you want to have a copy of that, which I personally use, you can just click on the link in the description below to join my free school community. This link is already in there for free. And while you're there, just make sure you watch those trainings because it's all free. So make sure that you watch my free videos on how to get started with copywriting, because it's entirely free. The goal of this video is pretty much give you a rundown on how to start copywriting without paying for courses, and this is an addition to that. It's a supplement to that. So make sure you watch those videos. They're completely free. So make sure that you spend some time there. And also, let's go through the spreadsheet real quick here. Category of what the piece of copy is. So if it's an email, then make sure you click on email. Nextly is the piece of copy. Paste that piece of copy into there and also analyze why it works. And also persuasion triggers, what emotions is it eliciting, what is it trying to do. Put the link there and put some tags there. And here down below, I teach you kind of how to use it, rundown of how to use it. If you want access to this document, then make sure that you join the school community because it's in there for free. So might as well do that. And also save this video so you can always come back to this if you have any trouble creating your own swipe file. So now is the most important part, which is phase 3, which is writing the actual email and getting the reps in. All right. So when you're first starting out, you won't be good. All right. So it's just the hard truth. When I first started out, I didn't know what I was doing. By having the swipe file, by reading those books, by subscribing to your local copywriters newsletters, and by reading podcasts, watching YouTube videos, even joining my free school community, you'll be able to have more than enough than you need to start copywriting. And now is the time to start writing emails. All right. So, your first few emails are going to be really shit, but power through. All right. So opportunity is usually found. Emails are going to suck, right? But don't feel defeated. All right. Make sure you push through, because most people are going to give up at this stage because they're like, hey, there's no way I'm going to be able to write good pieces of copy. But you want to push through. You want to keep trying. You want to keep building your swipe file. You want to keep writing more emails. Your first ones are going to suck, but your 100th one is not going to suck. In fact, it's probably going to be really good. All right. So this is just a bit of encouragement because a lot of people really give up at this stage from what I've seen. So I don't want that to be you. So I want you to always power through. All right. So a key principle that that I want to share with you right now is the Life Force 8. This is a principle taken from cash advertising, and in the book it says that in every piece of copy you should include at least one of these in your copy to appeal to the human nature, right? The first thing is survival, right? Each and every single human wants to survive. They want to live longer. We want to enjoy life, right? So that's one thing you can include in your piece of copy. And an example of that would be, let's say you're writing for a life insurance company who sells life insurance plans, right? Rather than saying, hey, life insurance plans, you want to say, protect your family's future, right? Ensure your children never have to ask, what now? Even if you're not there to answer. So let's say, touch wood, you're not there anymore. Your children are going to be taken care of with this insurance plan. So that's appealing to survival. That's appealing to want to extend your life and have and being taken care of on that level, right? Secondly, each and every one of us want to enjoy food and beverages, right? So let's say you're writing for a company which delivers meal prep, right? Rather than saying healthy meal delivery on the emails, you should say like, hey, savor chef crafted meals at home without spending hours meal planning, grocery shopping, or cleaning up, right? Your first week is going to be 50% off. This is a much stronger offer, much stronger copy, much more put together. It's not just like a cookie cutter healthy meal delivery, which most people would probably write when they're first starting out, right? So these are just some examples you guys can go through in your own time. But the third one is freedom from fear, right? Fourth one is sexual companionship. Number 5 is we all want to be living in comfortable living conditions. Number 6 is you want to be superior, you want to be better than others, you want to be winning, you want to have that status, right? Number 7 is care and protection of loved ones. We all want to protect our loved ones. And 8 is social approval. We want to be approved by others. We're social animals, right? So it's best if you use all 8 in your piece of copy. I know that's really hard to do, but to start off, just include one in your piece of copy. You want to appeal to one of these 8 life forces, all right? So again, we have lots of examples here. We won't run through that all today, but you guys can go through that in your own time. All you have to do is download that document, all right? And secondly, we want to go through the 4 U's framework for headlines, all right? So headlines is something like dialogue here, it's a headline, but this applies to each and every single piece of copy that you write. It applies to emails, it applies to ads. So this is something that I want to go through with you right now before you write your first piece of copy, is that each piece of copy should include these things, right? So it should include urgent, right? Why should they act now, right? If they don't act now, they're going to take forever to buy your product, right? So you want to give them something urgent, right? Secondly is unique. What makes your email, what makes your copy, what makes your headline different from the others, or what makes your offer better than others, right? Thirdly is ultra specific, right? What are you trying to attain for the customer? Are they trying to lose fat? If they are trying to lose fat, how many pounds are they trying to lose? Be specific, right? Specificity works really well in copy. And nextly is usefulness. What's in it for them? If there's nothing in it for them, why should they even read your piece of copy, right? So the 4 U's framework is also something that I go by to this day when writing copy, and it's going to really help you out in your copywriting journey. So let's say this headline, for example, right? 5 days of coaching teaching you how to build an online business in 2025, working less, earning more, so you can live life your way, right? So this appeals to the Life Force 8 as well as includes the 4 U's, right? So next one is the one example I already stated just before. And the next one is the 3-step process we use to clean your credit, establish your credit, and securing your first $20,000 in funding within 60 days or less. This is very specific, right? This includes this U here, ultra specific, right? Because it outlines, hey, $20,000 in funding in 60 days or less. That's what we're trying to help you do, right? So it's very specific, which is really good, all right? So here we have more examples here of using the 4 U's. So right here, let's say you're selling a weight loss program. It says lose 20 pounds in 30 days without giving up your favorite foods. That's a very strong copy, right? Because it's specific and also has the framework without element, right? How to do X without doing Y, all right? Secondly is, let's say you're selling social media services. Rather than saying, hey, we sell social media services, you want to say, get 3x more Instagram followers in 60 days without spending hours of content, and now we're taking 5 new clients. That also has urgency, right? It has uniqueness, it has ultra specificness, and it also has urgency, right? The next thing is the fear factor, right? Fear is an important emotion that we all want to use in our copy because it's a very strong emotion. So if you haven't really heard about the story of the Ferrari salesman guy, but pretty much, let me share that story with you right now. So there was once a Ferrari dealer who sold Ferraris, And he wasn't selling a lot of Ferraris when they were first starting out. So instead of just letting, buyers, take it for a test drive, he would tell them, hey, rather than just taking it for a test drive for 30 minutes right now, why don't you take the Ferrari home with you, right? Take it for the weekend, right? Take it for a few days, show it to your friends, show it to your wife, show it to your neighbors. And, if you like it, buy it. If you don't like it, you can bring it back, right? So, but there's a psychological twist in this way of selling things, right? Because after someone has actually parked the Ferrari in their garage, they've shown it off to their neighbors, they've told their wife, their kids see them, it's hard to really let it go, right? He's gonna think, hey, how will I go back to my regular, how will I ever drive a Honda now, right? And the thirdly is, I've already imagined all the places I'll drive it, right? Why would I ever want to give that up? Because I've already driven it. I don't want to lose that, right? So the fear of losing something is stronger than the want of something. So you want to use fear in your copy because it's a really strong emotion, and really appealing to that really works really well. Now we have a few examples here, but I'm not going to go through that right now. We're going to go through some pieces of emails that I really wanted to show you. All right, so now let's take a look at the email right here, right? The subject line is called surprise discount code inside. So let's read through it together. Hey, it's client's name. We've been getting a lot of questions lately asking if we have any sales going on. So this is obviously coming from someone who's selling a course or a program. I just checked my records and it looks like we haven't had one in a while, so I decided to do something crazy. I'm gonna give you a special discount code that's good for the weekend only. So first of all, we can see specific, right? And also urgency, right? How much will you save? Well, it's a surprise. The only way to find out how much you'll save is to use the discount now. So that's super urgent, and it also has a curiosity element, right? You want to be able to have that curiosity gap. People are wondering, hey, how much is that discount, right? You don't really tell them, because the goal of an email is to get the reader to read the next line. You don't want them to get them to click right away. You want to get them to read the next line, because if they don't read the next line, then how are they ever going to get to your pitch, which is at the bottom, or which is usually at the bottom of the email, right? So here you outline something specific. You also outline urgency. And then later on you say, hey, like if you want to find out how much this discount is, then all you have to do is click on the link to use now. All right, and use this code surprise, right? So sometimes rather than just telling someone to do something, you also want to show them how it's done, right? You want to show them, hey, this is actually how you apply to checkout, apply the discount at checkout, just enter this code. All right, now let's look through another email. All right, so this is another email. This popped up last night when I was browsing on my phone, and I immediately thought of you. Aging is not lost youth, but a new stage of opportunity and strength. I couldn't agree more. Right? Many people see aging as solely about physical and mental deterioration, and as a road to more and more limitations. And sadly, that's the case for lots of people who do nothing to help their body age vigorously and beautifully. But when you take control of the way you age, the way you look, and the way you feel, your older years can be filled with opportunity to live your life you've always envisioned for yourself and your loved ones, right? It can be the happiest and most fulfilling stage of your life. That's why when I saw the image above, I immediately thought of you, because you being here as part of the company name means that you're doing everything you can to make the next year's the best life yet. And I find that incredibly inspiring, so I wanted to say, keep it up, lady. You're doing amazing. Hope you have a fantastic Sunday. So this is a great email that I've seen work really well. So these are just a few examples that you can also keep to your swipe file as well. Now, all you got to do now is pretty much rinse and repeat, right? You have all you need to do to start writing. Now, all you have to do is just write your emails, write your first email, write your second email, write your third email. And even better yet is after you've done that, you can add those emails to your portfolio. Now, if you're unsure whether or not your emails or your first emails are good, I do offer free copy coaching inside my free school community with my head copy coach every Saturday and every Thursday, and it's live, so you can hop on the calls anytime to get your copy reviewed for free, for completely free. And on top of that, I myself host 2 weekly calls in the free school community down below every single week on Wednesdays and Sundays. So if you want to join me, if you want to join the session and ask me all the questions you want to ask in regarding to starting a copywriting business in 2025, then feel free to join the community. It's absolutely free. These calls are absolutely free as well. The goal of this video, again, is to let you learn copywriting without ever having to pay for a course. So make sure that you join my free school community down below. Now, with that being said, if you enjoyed this video today, then make sure you like the video, save the video so you can go back in your own time. And if you want access to the tracking sheet, if you want access to the resources, just click on a link in the description below to join my free school community, because all of those resources are compiled there. So without further ado, I'll see you in the next video.